6, 5, 4, 3, 2, are you ready? That's the Chicago way.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of What's Up, Cuz. I am your host, Jason Palmer, joining you here. Today is Monday, August the 28th, summertime, winding down here in the Midwest. So I decided to come outside the studio and do a little outside broadcasting, get a little fresh air, give me a little vitamin D, see I can get a little vitamin D on my arm there. That's always good for your skin tone and all that good stuff. So I'm very happy to be broadcasting outside today for What's Up, Cuz. As summertime shy is winding down, fall will be here before you know it. The leaves will start changing, and then that white stuff will be falling from the sky in about 2 months. So I said, let me get on outside a little bit. So welcome, everybody. Welcome to What's Up, Cuz. We have a fantastic show planned for you tonight. Coming up tonight at 6:30, we have a very special guest who's going to come on because college football season has already kicked off. Notre Dame kicked off against Navy over in Ireland over the weekend. But this weekend, you're going to have more games ramping up. So we wanted to talk some college football. So Lance called up his old high school buddy, Howard Griffin from the Big Ten Network. He's going to join us at 6:30, and we're going to talk all things going on in college football. We're also going to be talking about the craziness that is going on with the NCAA realignment. You need a chart to figure out who is who and what conference they in, and I don't know what's going on with that. So we're going to talk to Howard about a lot of stuff, and we want to get some predictions from him, see how U of I is looking this year, and also how Northwestern is looking, because we know Northwestern is going to be going through some stuff this season. So we're going to get Howard's expert opinion on all that good stuff. So that is coming up. Also on tonight's show, we are going to be discussing USA track and field. The USA dominated the world over in Budapest, Hungary over the last couple of weeks. USA brought home the most gold medals in any country, and I think they actually got the most overall medals too than any country in the World Athletic Championships over in Hungary. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We are going to talk about the unfortunate incident that happened at Guaranteed Rate Field the other day, where 2 women were shot inside the stadium while sitting out in the bleachers. That situation is still under investigation by the Chicago Police Department. But our own producer, Sean Superback, he was in attendance at that game. So we're going to get his kind of firsthand witness account of what the situation was like there at Guaranteed Rate Field, as the police department is still trying to figure out just exactly what the heck happened with that one. So we want to hear Sean's take on that, and then we'll kind of give you the official statement, the latest update on what is going on with that as well. Also, we're going to talk about NIL deals in college. Angel Reese has now become the most prominent, probably one of the most prominent college athletes with her NIL deals. And we'll talk about what she is doing with some of that money that she has got coming in. So we're going to have that conversation as well. And also, we're going to talk the first weekend of high school football here in Illinois, some of the results that took place over this first weekend of high school action. There was a lot of games that were being played. Fortunately, the weather cooperated. So it was a heat wave here for a couple of days, temperatures in the hundreds. So they had to cancel some of the practices and stuff like that, but they were able to get the games in over the weekend, which was always a good thing. So we're going to discuss the opening weekend of high school football. So my cousin Lance is running a little bit late today because he had some duties over at Kenwood, but he will be joining us very shortly. He's getting his set up. I can see him coming in on the background here pretty soon. He's getting his setup done, and I will talk with Lance. But before I bring him on, I just want to again welcome you to the show. This is What's Up, Cuz. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, we appreciate you tuning in, checking us out. If you're watching us on the Sports Zone Chicago YouTube channel, go ahead and like and subscribe to that channel. It'll give you access to all the wonderful shows we have here on Sports Zone Chicago. Also, if you're watching us on the Roku channel, the Sports Zone Chicago Roku channel, we appreciate you tuning in there. You can take that Roku channel and put it right next to your YouTube, to your Netflix, to your Fubo TV, whatever you got on Roku, just put us right next to us. That'll give you access to all of our shows too, and you can watch us from anywhere in the world. And if you are tuning in on the Sports Zone Chicago app, you need the app for your iPhone, you need the app for your Android, you need the app for your grandmama's phone, which she don't know how to operate. Go ahead, put us on grandmama's phone, show us how to download the app so grandma can watch us too. We appreciate you for downloading the app. And if you do not have the app, I can tell you the places you can get it. You can get it from the Google store. You can get it from the Amazon store, the Amazon Play Store. That's a good place to get it from. You can find it anywhere you want. Just put in Sports Zone Chicago for that app and go ahead and download that app. So before my cousin Lance comes on, I'm going to bring my super producer Sean on because we're going to talk a little bit about the Chicago Bears. We got a clip to play. The Bears played their last preseason game this weekend at Soldier Field, taking on choke like the Buffalo Bills, as Ice Cube used to say back in the day. And we got a clip from the Bears preseason game against Buffalo. Go ahead and play that clip, Sean, that we can discuss.
I'm not going out. I don't want to play right now. Third and long, Allen against Stevenson. He held on to it. He's had a couple of shots in the preseason. Is the back next to him. From the 16-yard line, pressure coming and a lot of space for Fields. Nice cut. He got tripped up. But he's big to Foreman. Good blitz pickup. Fields has time to deliver to DJ Moore, and he breaks away. This is what he does. Big gainer, DJ Moore inside the 35. Up Bears in the finale against Minnesota last year. Allen nearly ran into a sack. He gets rescued on the throw outside to Andy Isabella, and he gets hit by Stroman.
Those video clips were courtesy of Fox. So, Sean, Chicago Bears play their final preseason game here on Saturday against the Buffalo Bills. What did you see that you liked in that final preseason game?
It was good to see DJ Moore just finally get off. You know, they haven't been throwing to him. He didn't play game 2. So there was just it was good to see that. I like the run game. The offensive line did need a little work. You know what? I actually should have uploaded that picture. There's a picture of play 1. I'll do that when I go back in the backstage. Play number 1. Handoff is a stretch zone. It's outside zone, and the Buffalo Bills are 1 yard deep in the backfield. All right, they recreated the line of scrimmage a yard back, and that caused I think it was no gain or -1 or no gain, and you can't do that. So stuff like I need to see them getting a little more in sync, and it's tough because you have a few starters out. You know, Tevin Jenkins, we don't know how long he's going to be out. I love the defense. The defense. Yannick Ngakoue showed he's going to get around that corner like crazy. And this is where we need to have the middle of the line collapse the pocket. And I didn't see it as much. I saw some of it, which was good. Tyreek Stevenson, you saw in the clips coming out, the pick. Can you imagine how much hype this kid would have if he caught those other 2 interceptions each in the first 2 preseason games? He'd have 3 picks in 3 preseason games. So this kid is physical. This kid is nasty. This kid's got swag. I mean, he comes from Miami. All right, he comes from the U. So he is he's got it, man. He's got it. And you know, people have talked about him being a little too aggressive. You know what? Give me a guy that's too aggressive. I'd rather have to reel somebody back in and say, hey, play a little smarter than have to ramp them up and try to get them excited. I don't want him to stop being who he is because that's what got him here. So I like I like it. And you know what? Here's the cool thing. He's going to get tested a lot. He's going to get tested a lot as a rookie. And he starts making 3, 2, 3, 4, 5 picks. All of a sudden, now you're looking at NFC or NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. So he's going to have a good opportunity to really make his mark as a rookie. And I like it. I like it. So a lot of good stuff I saw, some other stuff. I wanted more passes from Justin Fields, but, it's preseason. They're running vanilla stuff.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, so we're going to talk more Bears preseason coming up later on in the show because I had a couple of concerns too with some of the play calls that I saw, and when they took Justin out, I was like, "Ooh, good job." So we're going to talk about that coming up a little bit later on the show. But for now, he is here. He is here. He is on Lance Irvin time, but he is here. Let's bring him in. My favorite cousin, the coach, Lance C. Irvin. Cuz, how you doing, man?
It's not called Lance Irvin time, fellas. It's called hustling. So you got to be able to hustle. You got to be able to hustle. See, my father-in-law, Paul Rice, told me everybody has to hustle. So I hustled over it. So I hustled. But, Sean, see, Jason has that Miami Hurricane jersey on, right?
I do. Wait. Hold on. I am in Miami. Let me
so
put my
Miami
gear on.
Sean, is Miami ranked this year? Are they gonna be ranked? They gonna win some games this year?
You know what? I don't even know. I don't even know. I haven't checked.
Let's see. Let me go to the football rankings.
Oh, you know what? Oh, here I got this. I got this overlay. We put this thing on Miami. Hold on, Lance. Hold on. Here you go. Here you go.
Oh, that's cold. That's cool.
Well, you know what?
I'm sorry, wrong one, Lance. Excuse me, wrong one. Wrong one. There we go. There we go.
Oh boy.
Well, see, my father taught me this. See, what does Lance people taught me? See, my real father, my biological pops taught me this. He said, if you could dish it, you have to be able to take it.
If you pitch, you got to catch.
Sean, I can't say nothing. All I know is this, Sean. Lincoln Way East went on the offensive line, was stunned this way, stunned that way, running through the gaps. And I was sitting there like, are we serious? Yeah, Sean, see, the problem is this. I knew Lincoln Way was good. Lincoln Way East was good. We run out on the field. They run out on the field. So we win the size matchup. I'm like, oh, we really got a chance. We got a chance, Sean, right? So first quarter, we get the ball on their 7-yard line and couldn't punch it in. So, so we had to kick it. We stop them again. We get it back down there again. We on their 10-yard line. Turnover. I mean, where'd it go? Stop. We don't score again. So then, after so long, they going to figure you out. And they figured us out. Then our All-American that plays defensive tackle, they had him at tight end. He hurt his ankle like the first play when he was playing tight end.
Hold on. Not Mr. Lightfoot.
Yeah. Mr. Lightfoot hurt his ankle.
The one that's getting ready to go to the U?
Yeah, it's getting to go to the U. So I didn't see him play defense.
Man.
I didn't see him play defensive snap. So I'm sitting there and I said, you know what? Now we play St. Rita on Friday. And I said, I done talked all that stuff to Sean. I said, now, being the coach
cheer for old St. Rita.
Being the coach that you are, a week of practice will get us right. So I'm hoping and praying that I don't lose this bet. But if I was looking at last week's game, no, I'm not going to revise my bet. I'm not going to revise my statement. I'm going to live with my statement. First game of the year, if it's the 8th game of the year, I'm panicking. I'm a little bit panicking, but I still think we're going to get y'all shot. I'm just a little less confident.
A little less.
Just a little less. Armando, the proverbial fat lady is still singing. So she's still whatever. But anyway, Sean, we got it.
For those of you who missed last week's episode, here is the physical evidence of me cracking up laughing as Lance Irvin said Kenwood is going to beat St. Rita, and you see Sean's reaction to Lance's comment. So just to catch you up, for those of you,
I had to give it a people's eyebrow. I had to give the people's eyebrow. I'm like, for real.
They we will see on Friday.
We will. We will. I'm not counting my chickens before they hatch. Believe you me. You know what? Hey, at St. Rita, that we do have we subscribe to the motto: we respect all, we fear none. So it doesn't matter who we're playing. We go out there, we play hard. All right. And if we happen to blow you out, we blow you out. If we happen to win by 2, we win by 2. If we happen to lose, doesn't matter. We give everyone the same respect because we don't want any Middle Tennessee states going on. Our Appalachian states going on.
And you know what, Sean? I heard the East St. Louis Lincoln Mark Carmel game. Now they said that was a game, though.
Yeah,
they played at Illinois
Carmel
State
won by
University.
3.
Said that was
Carmel won by 3. Yeah,
that was a game. So football season is in swing of things, and
so you know what really sucks? I was telling Jason earlier. Like, I hate Mount Carmel. They're my rival. All right, they beat us. That's when they first started winning championships in 1988.
Mm-hmm.
Right, they came to our place. They beat us 18-7. My coach stopped giving me the ball. I was the Catholic League Player of the Year. I got the ball 7 times in the mud. Yeah, let's pass the ball. Let's pass the ball in the mud. Let's do that. Okay, that's in the pit. If you ever had the old St. Rita Stadium, you remember that. That was the pit.
I remember it.
Howard knows what I'm talking about. He said it's the pit. All right, and it was muddy, and I was a fullback, and we're throwing the ball like it's Air Coryell for all you people. We're dating ourselves back then. All right. I'm like, Coach, what are you doing? I got the ball 7 times. First time I touched the ball, 33-yard touchdown, and we're up 6-0, 7-0. That was the only time we scored. It was insane. So,
are you serious?
I'm dead serious. 7 times. So I can't stay in Mount Carmel. I work out with Jordan Lynch at a CrossFit place. So I'm just like, what's up, kid? What's up? He's young enough to be my son. I'm like, what's up, Jordan? So he knows. He feels that energy. But what sucks is one of the guys I played ball with, his son is a stud receiver that plays on Mount Carmel. So I'm like, oh, man. So I like rooting for him, but I kind of want them to win. But they keep winning all the time. Davion Gilliam. He's like 6'5". I think he's going. I think he's committed to Kent State. Yeah, good wide receiver, really good wide receiver. This guy's got some freak. Like he'll probably get a shot, maybe UDFA or late round draft, maybe UDFA as long as he continues to progress. In college, he's got a shot to get a look at least. So, but yeah.
Does it seem like, Sean, the wide receivers getting bigger, taller, faster than what they used to be?
Dude, you're talking 6'5". I mean, a 6'5" receiver, they weren't that big. They weren't that like. Remember Harold Carmichael? That's one of the first big receivers I remember.
The Eagles,
yes. Sure. Like he was one of the first. He was like 6'3". 6'3", 6'4".
No,
he was 6'5",
like 6'10".
No, he wasn't 6'10".
He was. I'm telling you, he was like a huge man.
I'll check it out. But then you had Mike Quick. But then you didn't have a lot. Those big ones, you didn't have a lot. Man, now
Moss came along.
Yeah, and then nowadays, man, them jokers. You look at 6'3". 6'3" is like the minimum. Like, okay, you got to be a minimum of 6'3". No, you're right. He was 6'8". Got him listed at 6'8". Damn.
So you know what I find that's interesting about that, fellas, is that as those wide receivers continue to get large like that, the cornerbacks are all still 5'11".
Yeah, it's funny. You don't get a lot more 6'1", 6'2" corners. There's a few more, but not to keep up with the influx of 6'3" plus receivers with 38+ inch verticals. And 7-foot wingspans. You're like, dude, how do you keep? Why don't we just jump ball it all the time?
Just throwing it up, yeah.
Why did the Bears do that last year? But that's another story. They're gonna get me started on football, and we got a guy who's playing the lead. He could tell us.
I'll tell you what. Have you guys been watching Hard Knocks with
it's Aaron Rodgers. He's a Packer and he's a Packer in a Jets uniform. So no. Well, I'll tell you what, man, that Joker looked good as hell. That first I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I mean, he
threw that ball to Garrett Wilson. You see that? He like right over that dude's head, just like whoop. I was like, oh.
Hey, how tall is Garrett Wilson? 6'2"? Is he that tall?
Somewhere in there. I'm not positive.
Good size, Jay. I mean, I think the Jets, Dalvin Cook, like you said a couple of weeks ago, Sean, that was a huge pickup. That was a good pickup for him.
No, Garrett Wilson's only 6 feet, 6 flat. It's only 6 feet.
Interesting.
Man, but Aaron Rodgers got some jokers to throw to, and then you had Dalvin Cook, got that stud defense, that AFC East, Jason. You and your Dolphins, You
I
and your
know we in
Dolphins
trouble.
got a battle.
My Dolphin, we got a battle. I just need Tua to not get a concussion. I need you to.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
I was going to ask the NFL, can we get an exemption and get Tua to wear the little concussion-proof helmet that everybody's
The
wearing in
Gazoo?
practice?
The
Can he wear
Gazoo
that
helmet?
in the game? Yes.
Looks
Can he
like
wear that
Gazoo.
during the game, please?
Hello,
Can we get-
dum-dums. Hello, dum-dums.
can
You
we
know
get an
what, Jay?
exemption?
You know what? That's an interesting point, though. Interesting.
Hey,
I
Steve,
mean,
Steve Tasker wore it. Why not?
you could at least try it. Like, I mean, I would try it.
Hey,
All
let's
they
just
can
say that,
tell you know.
hey, there's a better chance of that storm missing the Tampa Bay area than Tua not getting a concussion, okay? Better chance of that.
That's probably accurate. That's probably accurate. So,
No,
all right.
I'm not.
All right, I'm out. I'll let you guys go to work.
All right. So, Lance, thank you for joining us. I know you were taking care of some administrative duties, not a problem. So, let me ask you, how was your weekend, cousin?
You know, Jay, weekend was busy. You know, it's the start of football season, high school football season. You know, I'm a big football fan. So anytime high school football starts and college football, I get excited. I didn't watch too much preseason football because I'm tired of the. I want to see them dudes come out there, right, for an
Okay.
extended period of time. So I'm just sitting there like I can't wait till the first week of NFL football. But now, Jay, college is about to get revved up. And like most people that follow Coach Prime, Deion Sanders, they got TCU this weekend, Jay.
Yeah.
TCU. So I can't wait to see what Coach Prime team is going to look like this first week. That's a big test. TCU was really good last year, like we know. They lost their quarterback. So I'm saying, this would be a good test for CU. Hopefully, I want them to have a good showing, right?
Of course.
Just never know because the team was so bad last year. But I can't wait to ask Howard about this now. With over 50 plus transfers, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's
Yeah,
a
that's
couple
a
of
lot.
it's a couple of pros in that 50, but how fast can you gel with that many
Yep,
transfers
that was what I was going to say.
in a short period of time? So we'll
Agreed.
see though, but interested in that, like always, I want to see the maize and blue. I want to see the Ohio State University. I can't wait to ask our guest Howard Griffin about Notre Dame, but also his not flying Illini, the Illini football team. Because I was reading some stuff, Jay. They got them picked to come in like 8th or 9th this year. So I mean, I don't know. I hope Coach B has us better than 8th or 9th because I pull for the state teams now, but this football stuff is crazy. You got Georgia. You can't count Nick Saban and the boys out.
Right.
Alabama, they say Michigan and Ohio State right there. It's gonna be interesting this year, but then you have the Florida State issue, Jay. They want to leave. They want to leave the conference. It seems like, man. I'm hearing maybe Virginia Tech. Some of those people might. Will the SEC want to go out east and tap some of that market? Right.
This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. I can't wait to talk to Howard about this whole realignment thing because this has just got nuts. Yes, college football is getting ready to, get in full swing. Notre Dame played Navy over in Ireland. So, the season is technically already started, but this weekend we are really going to gear up. And then you got to mingle with some friends I saw over the weekend, Mr. Irvin.
You know what? I gotta ask our guest. Where was he at? Like, I mean, I guess Mr. So, I got a little bit more limelight because I guess didn't show up. So him and Byron Irvin and Marlon Maxey and the streeters didn't nobody show up. So I was happy. I get happy when guys like that don't show up. So I'm like, oh, okay, I get more limelight. So
you say you got some more limelight.
Oh, I got some more limelight. Hey Jay, you ain't gotta compete with Howard Griffin, Byron Irvin, and the Streeter brothers, and everybody else, all those boys. I felt like I wouldn't say king, but no, we had a great time at the Percy L. Julian All Class Reunion, Jay. We probably had a couple of thousand people out there.
Wow.
But I also hear the Swoop had their reunion this weekend. I didn't see you out there, so I figured the picnic was just null and void.
No, yes. The Lynn Bloom all class reunion was also this past weekend out in the south suburbs. I was unable to attend because I was working. I was refereeing volleyball. It's volleyball season. I had a tournament on Saturday. But yeah, Swoop Nation represented. And we always chide each other in Chicago about what school you went to, what high school. That's just who we are in Chicago. But I've always had love and respect for Julian, man. I've always loved what you all do. And I know you all feel the same way about Lynn Bloom. Two really good schools who produce a lot of really great alumni who are doing great stuff all around the world. So it was a big weekend, the Lynn Bloom Julian people talking stuff online on who's going to be better, picnics. So it was good. I was glad you all had a large turnout. I've been to your affair before because I know so many people that went to Julian, and it's always a good time out there hanging out with you Jaguars. So I'm glad you went. I'm glad Cindy went. I'm glad you all had a really good time, man. We have to celebrate life. That's the one thing we always talk about on the show. Of course, there's a lot of stuff in this world that's going on, but you got to still be able to have a good time and celebrating with the people that you've had some positive experiences with. And that's why these class reunions are so good. So, all right. The time is now 6:28. We are going to take our first commercial break because we are coming back right on time because we are bringing on our first guest, Howard Griffith from the Big Ten Network, and we're going to talk more college football. We're going to ask Howard about some Bears stuff and his relationship with Kevin Warren and what the Bears can expect from that. So we are looking forward to our guests. So everybody stay tuned. You are watching What's Up, Cuz. Summertime Shy, baby.
No, I don't know though. I'm scared. I mean, you're
Do you know that you're in my lane? No, not at all. Are you not paying attention? Are you texting? I was just checking in with my mom. I was telling her that I thought we'd be home by 6. It's okay. There's enough time. Just pay attention. I'm not even halfway through my text. There's no way. I'm not even going to look up. My babies are in the car. You have to pay attention. It's just supposed to be a quick text. I'm so sorry.
Operator 901, where's the emergency?
127 Brynmere.
Okay, what's going on there?
I'd like to order a pizza for delivery.
Ma'am, you've reached 911. This is an emergency line.
Large with half pepperoni, half mushroom.
You know you've called 911. This is an emergency line.
Do you know how long it'll be?
Okay, ma'am, is everything okay over there? Do you have an emergency or not?
Yes.
And you're unable to talk because...
Right.
Okay, is there someone in the room with you? Just say yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, it looks like I have an officer about a mile from your location. Are there any weapons in your house?
No.
Can you stay on the phone with me?
No. See you soon. Thank you.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to What's Up, Cuz here on the Sports Zone Chicago Network. And we are ready to bring on our guest for this evening because it is college football season. And we had to reach out to him because he knows all things college football. He is a Chicago native, a Southside kid, played for the Denver Broncos, played at the University of Illinois, and just a really fine human being. And we like bringing those type of people onto the show. So without further ado, let's bring him on, our good buddy Howard Griffith. Howard, how you doing, man? Welcome back.
Hey, thanks, fellas. How you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing great, but Howard, Lord have mercy. Howard, You
What do you
need to
want
know
to say?
something. You
Okay.
need to know something, Howard.
What?
I'm listening.
Before I ask you a question.
Okay.
And the best way I can do it is to just show it to you. Sean, please play it for me. And I will read it to the audience. Jason attended this grammar school from kindergarten through third with former show guest Howard Griffin,
Oh my!
who later went to high school with Lance. What school did I go to Howard Griffin?
You know what I should be? We talked about this 2 weeks ago.
Yes,
I
we
know
did.
it's a Catholic school, Saint Judas or something like that.
Saint Judas.
Saint Judas. Say. No, it's Saint Josephine or something. Saint Joseph.
I don't think there's a name of a school called St. Judas, but I'm not a Christian, but I'm pretty sure they did not name a school after Judas. What's wrong with your boy, Howard?
You know what, Howard? I'm kicking him off the show, Howard. Howard, I'm not paying him no mind. What's up, Howard? Great to have you on the show.
Good to be here.
I at least thought he was gonna say I was happy because I didn't see you at the Julian picnic, so the light shined on me a little bit more. Byron wasn't there, Marlon Maxey. I thought he was gonna say that, but he want to bring up. But anyway, I'm not. What's up, Howard, man?
Yeah, man, everything's good, man. I can't complain. We just got to move past that. It didn't even happen. We ain't worried about it.
Thank you, Howard. I appreciate it, but you know what, Howard? I think you need a really good lawyer. Let me tell you why you need a good lawyer.
Talk to me.
And I'm gonna be your lawyer, Howard, because name, image, and likeness. Illinois probably owe you a lot of money. A lot of money. I guess I'd ask you, what's your thought on that, and how much money would Howard have walked away with?
I don't know how much I would. I don't know if there's enough money. Because remember, Nick was there, Kendall was still there, Liberty was still there. We still had all these basketball players that were still around. So I don't know how much money was left over for the football program. And then we had Jeff George and Mike Bellamy and Mo Gardner. So we had a lot of people that was going to get a much bigger check than I was going to get. But I would have at least been able to, go to the movies or buy a sandwich. It would have given me that much.
Think about that, Howard. Though seriously, though, as a kid, if somebody's giving you, okay, Howard, we're gonna give you $350,000. How does that work when you making more than a coach as a player almost? Just saying, how crazy does that sound?
That's a different time, man. And listen, first of all, I'm excited that student athletes are now being able to earn money off their name, image, and likeness. That was way overdue. And quite frankly, it still needs to go another step where they need to start doing revenue sharing. Because it is so much money that's being tossed around right now. It's incredible. Well, answer your question, so I go to Media Day. This is my 17th year with the Big Ten Network.
Congrats.
So my first couple of years, we go to Media Day, and there are 3 players and the coaches to represent each program. And the players, when it first started, they all had the same color suit coat on, and then the suit coat was a little too big because it was blue or black or beige. And then they had some beige pants on. They didn't have suits. Now these jokers coming in here with $1,000 shoes on, the big chains. They are red carpet ready. So these cats, the kind of money that they're making right now. You look at women's basketball. Look at the LSU team. Their young ladies are going to make more money at the college level than they will when they go pro. So the money is out there. I'm glad that student athletes are now having an opportunity to cash in.
And lastly, Jaden, I'll let you ask Howard a question. I just read something recently, Howard, what they said. The Ohio State University, on their football staff, they have 55 people on their support staff. That tells you what type of money that they're generating right there. Jason, 55 people. 55.
Yeah. 55. And they may not, probably the top people out there, Ohio State's going to be there, Alabama's there, Michigan State, Michigan. I mean, these back offices have grown to such large numbers that there's some programs who don't even, I'll tell you the program, it's Nebraska. Nebraska has such a big support that they can't even meet in their original meeting room for the coaches because it's not enough room. Because it used to be one long banquet table in there. And then if you had 20 chairs in there, that was good enough. Not anymore. Like Nebraska right now, they're building a new facility, but they're holding it in the meeting rooms where they meet as a team. So these staffs have grown, but that's where college athletics is right now, particularly football, between the transfer portal, between NIL, between trying to manage your own roster and recruiting. You just have to have all of these people that are out there, graphic designers. So it has turned into an amazing opportunity for a lot of people. And really it comes down to the teams that have it are going to go ahead and spend it. And the teams that don't aren't going to spend it because they can't keep up with, some of the other salaries that are out there. You mentioned Ohio State. They might have 6 coaches making $1 million. So go figure.
Wow. That's deep, man. And I mean, Angel Reese came out and donated $12,000 to the girls basketball team at her old high school back there in the Baltimore area. I mean, that's amazing that here she is still in college. Most college kids trying to figure out if Biden going to forgive their loans, and she giving $12,000 back to her old school.
And really, that's what's amazing about it. Because listen, are they going to spend money on a lot of stuff? Absolutely, they are. On their own stuff, whether it's cars, clothes, whatever it is. But like Angel Reese, J.J. McCarthy at Michigan, he donates to his own children's hospitals. He does that. But he also, every city that he plays in, he donates to that children's hospital as well.
Oh, wow.
So now he's getting ready to expand that, not just to children's hospitals, but he wants to go into the mental health awareness area as well. So, I mean, there are a lot of kids out here that are doing, I shouldn't say kids, a lot of young people out here that are making a huge impact, but they're also giving back to the communities that they came from.
That's great. That's really good. So, Howard, the Big Ten, getting ready to expand. Just call them the Big 25 is what I'm going to call them, Howard. Just the Big 25. So, with all these extra schools y'all bringing in and more revenue, does that mean Howard Griffith is getting a raise? And how are you going to cover
See,
all
this
these
is the problem, right? Everybody's getting money but me. I'm not getting any extra money. But I'm still going to have to go see these 4 new teams out west. So instead of seeing, I think it was 14 schools in 16 days at the beginning of August, now we got to figure out how we're going to get these extra 4 teams on the West Coast in. But just like NIL, I mean, you're seeing college realignment or expansion, however you want to phrase it. It is just such a different time. I mean, for me, I'm sitting here saying USC and UCLA were concerned about their financial stability. Think about what we're saying. USC and UCLA and wanted to make sure that they were able to secure themselves, and they did by making that move to the Big Ten. And Oregon and Washington have followed suit as well. And you look at the SEC, and they're going to get Texas and Oklahoma, and what's going to happen to the Pac-12 is the biggest question that's out there, and what's going on with the ACC as well.
You know how when you talk about the Pac-12, right? I thought they probably had the best situation for those schools that was left. Now they unload and they come to the Big Ten, or they leave for the Big Ten. That's tough. You already talked about USC and UCLA, right? Then Oregon, and they leave. Like, what's your thoughts on that? I mean, I understand why they left.
Yeah.
But they dismantled the whole conference. Like, did you? I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
There's never a time I would have thought that you wouldn't have a Pac-12. Never would have thought that, because it's just. But now when you look at where television deals have gone, Jim Delaney put the Big Ten Network together with a lot of presidents in the Big Ten, and one of the key partners there was Fox. You look at the way the Big 12 put their television deal together, they had no partner, so they were always, playing catch up as far as distribution to households.
Mhm.
I mean, perfect example, SC just played the other night, and people down the street couldn't see them because they didn't have a Pac-12 network. So the distribution part of it was a problem. So not having a partner. Now, what I thought was really cool at the beginning of it was each school had their own individual network, but you can imagine how much that costs to try to maintain.
Right.
So now you're paying all this money out for all these campus studios and all the digital stuff that goes behind that, and it just turned out not to be what it appears to be a great financial proposition. You couple that with the time. I mean, they tried to throw a lot of different scenarios, tried to have games, wanted to propose having games at 9 o'clock in the morning, just so that they could be relevant, because nobody was watching Pac-12 after dark. It just was not happening. So the viewers and the eyes weren't there. And at the end of the day, one of the things that happens is networks control this thing. Whether it's Fox, ESPN, NBC now in the mix, they're in control of it. And if you do not have the viewership there, then you're not going to be able to command some of the dollars that the Big Ten has garnered, and also the SEC.
Okay. So now let's talk from a competitive basis now. This year's Big Ten season. Who are the top teams? Who are the up-and-coming teams? And which teams do you expect to take, a slide backwards?
Yeah, so I think right now this will be the last year for East and West in the Big Ten, and they'll go to one conference when they go to 18. But I think if you look at the East, right now I have them ranked, Michigan 1, Penn State number 2, and Ohio State 3. In that order. Then there's a battle for who's going to come in fourth, or who's shooting for that fourth spot. And right now it looks like it's probably Maryland and Michigan State trying to get into that position. And then, Indiana and Rutgers are still building and trying to, make things happen for themselves and try to build a strong program. Those schools, those last four that I mentioned, are the schools that are probably really excited that we're going away from this whole East and West. You look at the West side of it, things are wide open because, everyone's really bringing in a new quarterback or has a new coaching staff. You look at Wisconsin has got a new guy in place. Purdue has a new guy in place. But right now, I think number one is it's wide open. But to me, between if Iowa's quarterback can get healthy to transfer from Michigan, they'd be in the mix. Wisconsin would be in the mix. Illinois is going to be right there in the mix. I think Purdue might have one of the best pure passers in the conference. This young cat that transferred from Texas, Carr. So, it remains to be seen. The West is wide open, though. I think the only team that's probably out of it or not going to be in the race is Northwestern.
Well, and we know why that is. There's no dancing around that question. What was your reaction to, how do I say this? Not just the news, but how Northwestern handled the news. And because it seemed like it just happened so fast, Howard. It was like we didn't know anything, and all of a sudden we heard a little something. The next thing you know, Pat Fitzgerald was suspended. Then 2 days later, after the student journalist at Northwestern, my fellow alums, wrote the real story, the president was like, I think I made a mistake. He comes back. And then we couldn't find the athletic director. He was on vacation. I was like, what in the world is going on, Northwestern?
Yeah. I think the easy answer is to say, as they look back at it, or they look at it, I mean, they clearly could have handled things better. I think they'd tell you that themselves. But that's really not the issue. The issue is what was going on in those locker rooms, whether it was baseball and the base, because they've got issues a number of places, allegedly, with all the lawsuits that have come out. But one of the things that happens, and I've gone back and kind of thought about teams that I've been a part of, and it all comes down to leadership. And leadership changes each and every year of a team, right? Even though you're there 4 or 5 years, there's still your first year, your second year, the leadership and the quality of that team is still very important and still has to come up with what that makeup is going to be. But I think what happens, or what probably has happened at Northwestern, is you had this. At least this is how I explain it to get people to see it. You come in, you're a young player, you're just trying to be a part of the program. You know, you really don't have a say, or you don't believe you do, because you're trying to fit in. You're trying to be a part of. And you're at a prestigious university, and you want to be a part of it, and you're already dealing with all the trauma that comes with being on your own and being away from home with really no support system that you can trust, that you know about, right? So you're trying to fit in. So you have guys that start to bully, and the bullies are who were doing the bullying were bullied when they were younger, so they want to get back. So to me, you know, bullies bullying, you know, trying to say, well, it happened to me, so it can happen to you. Now, I don't think it started out that way, but each year it doesn't get stopped. It gets bigger. People up the ante, keep upping the ante, and you know, I think it's always, it comes back to the fear of being ostracized by your team, and it's probably nothing worse than being on a team and being by yourself. I can only imagine what it's like if you're not being respected because you're trying to fit in, and you know, it's one of those tough things. But this thing, there's no place for it. It shouldn't have happened. I think one of the crazy things or the interesting things, you talk about hazing to begin with. You know, hazing, when they came up with it or they talked about it at the university level, it really didn't have anything to do with the athletic programs. People immediately say, well, we have a hazing policy in place. But to me, that was really about the Greek organizations that were out here, because those are the ones that made headlines about hazing or have problems and different things like that. You didn't really hear about what was going on in athletic programs, but things were clearly going on. And it has just gotten to a point where, you know, you just have to be smart, right? You got to be smart. Like it's one thing to say, hey, you need to carry some pads, right? But that's hazing. You need to bring the water, or you need to bring donuts. That's still hazing. Getting coffee, that's hazing. But then you have this other end of the spectrum that when you read some of these, you know, accounts of what was going on at Northwestern, that are really crimes. That's what they are. They are crimes. So, you know, it's really unfortunate, but they're going to have to try to figure it out. It's tough for the kids that have nothing to do with this, because right now they're going to be asked to go play a game this weekend. And what happens with this team if things don't go well in that first game or the second game, and things start to spiral? So, you know, they got an uphill battle in Northwestern to keep not only that team together, but you know, that coaching staff needs to stay together, because you have to believe that, you know, their futures are uncertain as well. So when they leave the football field, right, and leave their meetings, they have families. They're going back home to their families and looking at their families like, I'm supposed to make sure you guys are straight, and I can't even tell you whether or not we are in a good position, and we haven't won or lost a game. And our situation could be turned upside down in a matter of months, and we may not have had anything to do with it.
I mean, I always thought how it was kind of like you said, that your leadership controls your culture most of the time, like you said. And we know some silliness happens, right? But it's always a guy that can say, that's not what we're doing. Go sit down. And then you move on. No, seriously, because you know, Jay, y'all know stupid stuff happens. I mean, no. This is not what we doing. Then you move on. And it's an unfortunate situation. I feel sorry for those guys. Sorry for the team. Sorry for the coaches, the guys that didn't have nothing to do with it. Because I always thought, and I tell Jason this joking, but I'm not joking. I thought Northwestern is one of the best jobs you could have. Those coaches rarely get fired. I feel like if you could find a way to go to a bowl every 4 or 5 years, you're making between 5 to 7 to 9 million on the basketball side. Chris Collins been there about 13 years. You go to a couple of tournaments. You making 3-4 million. That's generational wealth for those guys. And I was just shocked. And I was like, Jay, Fitz does a good coaching job. At least I thought, Howard. I mean, his guys always showed up ready to play. And this is an unfortunate situation. But I just want to talk to you about coaching in the Big Ten on the football side, right?
Yeah.
You have guys like they mentioned SEC, Kirby Smart, Nick Saban, some of those guys. Who on the Big Ten you think is the best coach or one of the best coaches, and who you think is the up and coming coach you like? This guy is a really good coach that doesn't get enough credibility.
Man, you know what's interesting when you start to talk about who the best coach is? You know, in the Big Ten, they have Coach of the Year every year. They vote for Coach of the Year. And Urban Meyer would never win it. He got the best team, but he'd never win it. Ryan Day went through that too. He'd never win it. But if you were a team that were up on the upswing, like Indiana was a couple of years, Coach Allen won Coach of the Year. Right, so it's kind of tough because you mentioned Nick Saban, you mentioned Kirby Smart. Both, Kirby Smart came from Nick Saban's tree, and has really put his own twist on that culture that Alabama has. So it's kind of hard to say who exactly is the best coach, because I think the only way you can ultimately decide is wins and losses. Now, I think Brett Bielema does an unbelievable job. PJ Fleck, they do an unbelievable job of preparing their players for situational football and also, game situations. So would PJ Fleck or, Brett Bielema have that kind of success if they were at Michigan or they were at Ohio State? I'd say, yeah, they probably have that kind of success for sure. Shiana with Rutgers, outstanding coach, but so much has to do with your situation. What kind of revenue or what kind of what can you do as far as going out and maximizing your talents as a coach, your talents as a program? If you need to fly privately to go recruit, can you do those things? And that's where it comes down to. It gets back to the haves and have-nots. Ohio State's got a ton of money. Well, whether they're collective and their NIL people, they got the worst building. They've got the worst football building in the conference. Probably.
The shoe is the worst building in the conference.
Their practice facility.
Gotcha.
And they've done upgrades, but when you look at what Northwestern has done, Illinois, Purdue, Iowa. All of these places have built new facilities, football-only standalone facilities. Rutgers is still in their building. They're in their stadium, so they've got a tough situation. But, I mean, when you look at a Michigan team, they don't care. There's no, this is what we need. Okay, go get it. Go get it. We need this to enhance. We need to bring in these speakers. We need to bring in all of these different people. Okay, go ahead. But there are other programs that from a revenue standpoint, they can't compete. So they have to, try to recruit better players. And I think this is where college football, to me, is, particularly now that we're going into this 18 team in the Big Ten. I think athletic directors and trustees and boards are going to have to reassess what success looks like for them. Right, because in the East and the West, you at least could say, okay, I went to the Big Ten championship game. Things didn't work out. I went to a nice bowl. Now you're talking about Michigan, Penn State, Ohio State, USC, Oregon, Washington has come out of nowhere, and they're playing at a really high level. So now you're looking at teams that, what happens if you're finishing ninth in the conference? You're in the middle of the road. I mean, what are the expectations going to be? So I think athletic departments this next year, and I'm sure they're doing it now, but they're really going to have to reassess what success looks like and what that means for your coaching staffs and how long can you stay with a coach? Because I think if you're a certain program, if you're in the middle of the pack, I mean, you need time to put your program. I mean, time is at least 5 years. And we know in college athletics, that's a lifetime, and people aren't that really that interested in laying out that kind of time or money.
No, see, that's the problem that I have, how when I was telling people, when you're in the big conferences with these conferences blowing up like that, people don't have patience. Now, like you mentioned, like I just told my brother Nick, Arizona State, they in the Big 12. I mean, in the Big 12. Now, right? I said, Nick, I said, that's dog eat dog now. I said, now y'all playing with Oklahoma State. You playing with Kansas. Kansas State football is always good and relevant, Howard. So now you go to what you had to those animals. Oklahoma State football is good.
Yeah.
And it's tough because now people expect for you to win right out the gate.
Yeah.
And people are not that patient with you. And the first thing they say is this, like you just mentioned, Howard. Oh, we paying you 7, 8, 10 million to win. And sometimes it takes time. And scheduling, Howard, like you said, is key. Talk to me about how you think the Big Ten scheduling will look. Like,
yeah, that's how I want to know.
I wouldn't want to be, if I'm Northwestern, this is me. I want to stay away from the Michigans, the Ohio States of the world for as long as possible, because those tough games, not saying those coaches dodging them, but how are they going to juggle 18 game? I mean, the scheduling with playing a couple of non-conference games. Have you heard?
They haven't come out with the new schedule for the new format of 18 teams, but I know they're working on it. But to your point, when we talked about Maryland, we talked about Rutgers, we talked about Indiana, right? Those three for sure are happy. They've gone away from the East, right? So, I mean, you're Maryland, right? And you're making that move. Say you're fighting for that 4th spot, right? You still got to play Ohio State, Michigan, and Penn State. You still got to play them every year, no matter what. So, can you really expect to go from 4th to 1st when those 3 places, if they are maximizing their resources on and off the field, it's hard to compete. It's going to be hard to compete. So I'm not sure how this schedule is going to play out moving forward, but I'm sure whatever it is, it's going to be a lot better than those teams the way they had it in the East. I assure you that those folks are happy that they don't have to see the Big 3 in the East every year and expect them to still go to a big-time bowl game.
Sure. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, be enjoyed by Howard Griffith of the Big Ten Network here at 7 o'clock here at the top of the hour. Howard, let me ask you this. You're fighting Illini.
Yeah.
What can we expect from them this year?
Yeah. So I think one of the things you look at them right now, they arguably have one of the best offensive lines in the Big Ten this year. They're returning a lot of veteran players there. Defensive line, they probably got the best interior tackle in college football. They've got some players now, and what's going to happen, right? The defense coordinator, Ryan Walters, went over to Purdue, so they're having they promoted within. With Aaron Henry, who played for him, actually played for Bielema at Wisconsin, really was a good player for him. So he's taken over, but I think things are they'll be just fine. I think for them, they had a chance to represent the West in the Big Ten championship game last year and stumbled down the stretch. There were multiple weeks where if they had just won, they would have been in that game. But I think part of the growing process of a young program that you're trying to teach to win is you got to learn how to win these close games and be able to close out. And that's something that they weren't able to do. So they're looking to take that step this year to be able to do it. I think they've got the talent now to be able to do it. And one of the things that's happening, I think Bielema's doing a much better job of recruiting the state. There's some guys that are committed to other places right now. That, recruiting never stops. You always got to keep recruiting, and if Illinois can continue to win, they might be able to, shift some things here or there. Not saying that they will, but it's always that opportunity because, I would go back to like 86 when I came out, and people just wanted to go to Illinois. I mean, you look at that Flying Illini team, Nick and Kendall and Bardo, those guys all wanted to play together. Larry Smith, they all wanted to play together. And, Irvin Small was there. So those guys, Kenny Battle was there. So they all had this tight relationship, from the circuit, playing in summer leagues, Chicago State, whatever it was. Like, shoot, we can go to this or Prairie State games. Now we dating ourselves. Yeah. But they all want to play together. But Illinois is one of those places that if you want to take that next step, you got to be able to get that big time player from most times the city of Chicago to say, hey, this is guys, let's go build it here in Champaign. Let's make it happen. So, they've had some players that could do it. They've chosen to go other places, including my son. So it's one of those things, man. It's a hard sell, but I think right now they're in the best position, coaching wise and recruiting wise, that they could be in and that they've been in a long time.
I mean, the wide receiver they flipped from Cincinnati that went to Simeon, that was supposed to go to Cincinnati, he's pretty good wide receiver. And I know they starting to spend money down there too, Howard. Like, talk to me about that facility they spent, because I heard it was that facility they told me cost like 90-something million, maybe more.
Listen, man, they spending some money now. Yeah, they spending some money down there, and it's, man, what's been crazy is, this football facility is really, it's really state of the art, and it really fits who Illinois is, right? Mm-hmm. So when I talk about Iowa having a new facility, Purdue having a new facility, they're great facilities, football-only buildings, but they really fit the personality of those particular programs. Mm-hmm. Now, when you go to Penn State, you're gonna have more bells and whistles. You go to Michigan, you'll have more bells and whistles. But that's what they do. Mm-hmm. I think you look at what Illinois has done, some of the other programs I mentioned, they did a great job of building those facilities and putting all the infrastructure in there that, it's going to help the student athletes. And, so they're spending money, but not just even, look at basketball, baseball, golf. They are spending some money down there in Champaign in athletics. And, it's working out for them and it's paying dividends.
I have to ask you a Fighting Irish question. We've got to talk about Marcus Freeman. I got to ask you about your son is coaching right at U of I. So talk to us about what advice did you get your son when he came to you and said, hey, Dad, I want to coach. What? If you hit it just right now, he would be taking care of his daddy. But what advice did you give him? Did you say you should take up coaching, or did you try to talk him out of it?
Man, I'm gonna tell you what. Like most kids, all of us want to play at the highest level, right? And he had aspirations of doing that too. Mm-hmm. And as I looked at his career and his abilities, I said, dude, I think you'd be an unbelievable coach. Your personality, your knowledge of the game, quite frankly, you'll make more money coaching than you will playing. Now, you can go try it, and that's fine. You can make a practice squad, do some things that I did that, you finally make it. Yeah, that can happen. But you can start your clock on the coaching side where you have coaches that are already ready to say, hey, man, come work with me. Come do this with me. I can get you going. And you talk about, 22, 23-year-old, getting into the game right now, the coaching game, because if that's what they want to do, that's great, because the money is incredible that they're making on that side of it. So once he finally realized, okay, this is what I want to do. I want to coach. And we just talked through it, and I had him talk to a bunch of other coaches that recruited him, and they just kind of said, this is what you have to see. This is what you got to figure out. How you want to go about this. And so he's jumped in and he's excited to be down there with Coach Bielema. I think he's with a great staff. He's going to be on the defensive side of the ball, so he's get a chance to learn from Aaron Henry that's taken over now, a defensive coordinator, and Coach Leonard, who was at Wisconsin. One of the brilliant minds, I think, as a defensive guy, is also a senior analyst on that staff. So he's surrounded by a lot of people that he'll be able to pick their brains. But he's excited about it. And listen, I think the truth is, when you see your buddies being drafted, your friends being drafted, there's still, that itch that, oh man, could I, should I? But he's closed the door on it. He's all in on the coaching side. So I'm excited to continue to watch him grow as a young coach.
Talk to us about Notre Dame and Marcus Freeman. I thought he did an excellent job last year. What's your thoughts on the Fighting Irish this year? Have you heard anything about them?
First of all, I think Marcus Freeman is so one of the things I do, I would go see all the schools in the spring, watch spring ball, then we do this tour and we see them in the summer. So I covered Marcus as a player, I think his first year. Then, he had gone off, had a cup of coffee in the pros, and he came back and saw him as a GA working for Luke Fickell, who's now in Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, talking to my guy, Jerry DiNardo, that's a coach right there. He can coach. Now, I'm not saying I saw him at this young age being the head coach at Notre Dame. That's not what I'm saying. But the qualities that he had and that he exuded at that point really, really stood out. So you think about his path. He's probably gone from a graduate assistant to a position coach at, I think, Kent State, defensive coordinator, position coach at Purdue, defensive coordinator at Kent State, then went to Cincinnati with Luke Fickell. So he's always really had some good people around him.
Gotcha.
Then had that chance to go to Notre Dame. He's interviewing for that. And, oh, by the way, while he's interviewing for that job, he's also being chased down by Alabama and LSU and throwing all kinds of money at.
Oh.
So, I mean, this isn't one of those situations where it was just one team, one university that saw that he could be an outstanding coach. But there were multiple teams that saw him, the people that saw him that way in the short list. And look, Notre Dame is a hard job. That is a hard job because it is championship or bust. I've never played in that type of environment where every game is that important to where you're going to be ratings wise and what people are where they're gonna see you. To wake up every day to know you can't lose a game, or maybe you can lose one, and it better be the right one by a few points only.
Right.
To know that everything you're shooting for is gone because there's not like you're playing in a conference championship. It's national championship or bust. But listen, I think Marcus is doing a heck of a job. I think he'd tell you he was drinking water from a fire hose people talk about because it's just that much stuff going on. And I think he had to get to a point where he understood how to say no, right? Because he's being pulled from every direction, right? Every direction is pulling because they all want a piece of him, whether it's just the sports side, whether it's the social side,
Great point.
being this young, charismatic coach at Notre Dame, a lot comes with that. So he's settling in, and I think he'll be fine. He's got his quarterback now. I think this team is going to be fun to watch. They've got a matchup against Ohio State coming up. They get them at home. So I think that'll be the first test really for Penn State and also Ohio State to see just how good these teams are. But he's got a loaded roster, and when you have a quarterback that can sling it around, that gives you every chance to fight for that championship.
It's a good thing. And also, let me ask you this. In terms of coaching, right, when will more African Americans start getting a shot at that top spot, right?
Yeah.
I'm still not seeing as much amount of movement that I want to see, but what's your thoughts on that? What's taking so long?
Well, it's not only that, man. I'm going to tell you what else is a little bit disturbing, right? It's not a little bit disturbing. It is disturbing. Is that when they're given, or I should say, when they get a shot to run a program and it doesn't go well, they don't get a second shot.
Yeah, you ain't getting no Jimbo Fisher deal.
You very rarely do they get that second shot.
Yep.
But I think one of the things, Kevin Sumlin, who
Texas A&M, Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, and all of a sudden just fell off the face of the earth. Well, he's on staff. He's a tight end coach right now in Maryland. But this was a guy that 5-6 years ago was one of the hottest names in college football. But I'll tell you this, we're seeing this happen, right? We're seeing more guys become coordinators. But you know the problem? They're not coaching the quarterbacks.
Oh.
Think about what I just said. You're the offensive
coordinator and not coaching the quarterback?
You're not coaching the quarterbacks.
How does that?
Go figure that.
I mean, I'm
coaching the wide receivers. You're coaching the offensive line. You're coaching a lot of things. But if you're the offensive coordinator, you would think automatically you're coaching the quarterbacks because that's where you would want to be able to see seeded game. And
Right.
you know, one of my guys, Josh Gaddis, who, you know, was at Vanderbilt, was at Penn State, he was at Michigan, won the Broyles Award for the top assistant in college football, won the Broyles Award 2 years ago. But as the offensive coordinator, he wasn't coaching the quarterbacks, he was coaching the wide receivers. He went down to Miami, was coaching the wide receivers. Things didn't work out there. So this year, for the first time, he's the offensive coordinator in Maryland, and he's coaching the quarterbacks. And I'm watching him coach, and he's coaching. He knows exactly what everybody's supposed to be doing, and that's what you expect. Mm-hmm. So I think, to get back to answer your question, for so many years, you became a coach, and if you look like us, you were coaching the running backs. Mm. But there's a ceiling to that job, right? Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, you might learn a little bit about the run game, or you learn about the run game, but you don't learn about the pass game. You really don't learn about, you know, the quarterback reads, what's happening outside. Mm-hmm. So when you try to get out of that position, it's hard. And there are a lot of guys that have been running back coaches and can't get out of that position. Now, if you're at the receiver position, tight end position, people are moving around, or it's the offensive line position, people have been able to move around. But for some reason, you know, we get put into a spot on the offensive side that has been, you know, coaching tight ends. And it's a hard deal every year. And it's really what a lot of it is turned into is, you know, search firms doing the searches. Yep. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's a big part of it. They have a big say in, you know, the names that are out there. But there are a lot of good coaches, a lot of young coaches that are out there. I think the other thing you're seeing them, at least they're telling them, hey, you go coach in the NFL. Less pressure, less stress. You're not chasing 16, 17-year-olds around trying to tell them, you know, come here for this reason and that reason. And I think some of it is, you know, it's an issue at both levels. But we still have to have an opportunity to have a seat at the table. Right now, there's really not a seat at the table. And you've got guys like Mike Loxley. Look at Maryland. Maryland, The president, the AD, and the head football coach, African Americans. That's nowhere else in the country. Mm-hmm. You see that nowhere else in the country that's happening. Mm-hmm. So we have to get to, you know, a position where there's more inclusion. You know, we talk about it all the time. You talk about diversity. You think about diversity when the Floyd situation happened in Minnesota. Mm-hmm. There were a lot of companies in corporate America started to hire, you know, diversity people to come in. Mm-hmm. And those were the first people to go. Yep. Those were the first people that were up out the door. Okay, we've done enough of that. Time to move on. We got it. Yep. Time to move on. But I think getting back to it, I think we just have to continue to put good people in the pipeline. And, you know, they have to be able to have mentors that can support them, that can reach out to them and pull them up. Because a perfect example of that is Nick Saban, right? Nick Saban, you know, for whatever reason, everybody wants to go down there and sit on that staff. And they come out of that staff, they spend their 2 years down there with Nick, they're head coaches again. Yep. So you want to be a head coach? Go down there and work for a couple of nickels. Couple of nickels down there with him, get rehabilitated, and all of a sudden you're a genius.
Hey, how would you go down there and be quality control coach, make $35,000 like Lane Kiffin and some of those guys said they were making? Bill O'Brien, and
it's crazy,
get you another job.
You get you another job, and that's the way it works, because everyone, you know, they'll say what they want to publicly, but privately, the reason that these rooms started to get so big is because of what Nick Saban was doing, and he shaped so much of what happened with what's going on right now with college athletics as far as coaching is concerned. I mean, he started having analysts, senior analysts. People like, what is senior analyst?
I know, I was saying that. I said, what is that?
Bro, he over here making $1.5 million as a senior analyst because he got fired from his old place. And Nick said, come in and spend some time down here with me. And
Hey, Howard, I was sitting there mad. I was calling some of my coaching friends like, hey, make me a senior analyst like Nick Saban. Stop being cheap. Go in there and spend the money. Yes, do me a Nick Saban favor.
Right. But that's what's happening. And you go back to, it goes back to the haves and have-nots, right? Alabama recruits the state of Illinois for our students. I'm not even talking about student athletes. Students. Alabama recruits the state of Illinois like nobody's business. See? I mean, you'd be surprised how many kids are going to Alabama from Illinois.
Wow.
Tuition is cheaper, and I mean, people want to be a part of let's face it, athletics is the front porch. They talk about it all day long, right? The front porch to the university. You got things rolling, people want to be a part of it.
Money.
That's right. That's right. I know that's right. Let me ask you, Howard, about Kevin Warren.
Yeah.
Former Big Ten commissioner, now running thing for the Chicago Bears. What type of man is Kevin Warren? And have you already started to see some of his influence on the Chicago Bears already?
Well, I'd say this. I like Kevin Warren a lot. When I met him early, spent a lot of time with him, he really was about the student athlete and trying to make the student athlete's experience the best it could be. Now, COVID happened, had to make some tough decisions. So had to make some unpopular decisions as well. So, it was rough. So I think people will probably tell you they have mixed feelings on the job he did at the Big Ten. But I think as a person, individual, I think he's sharp. He knows exactly what he wants to do. When it comes to the Chicago Bears, I think it is a great fit for him and where he is and with his family. They're empty nesters now. With his family, he really has time. The challenge with being a commissioner of the Big Ten, or I'm guessing any conference, is you're on the road all the time. You're never there. If it's truly about the student athlete's experience, you need to get around, talking about the Big Ten, you need to get around the 14 schools, and you're just talking about maybe seeing a basketball team here during basketball season or football season, where you just can't go see them. How about the volleyball? What about diving? So you're being pulled in many different directions. So your time, man, the time constraints on that job is difficult. And went through the TV deal, got that done. But now, to me, he is right where he needs to be, right? With the Chicago Bears running this organization, and you just need to check his track record. When you look at what he was able to do in St. Louis, what he was able to do in Minnesota, whether it's building a new stadium in Minnesota, whether it's building a new practice facility. Oh, by the way, the Bears want to build a new stadium. Not necessarily a practice facility, but that is a huge part of it. And he was a part of the deal to get the Wolf family, Minnesota, that purchase. So he's a big part of that. So he's right for it. I think when you think about the Bears right now, they're probably in the top 5 franchises in the world, and they don't own their stadium. Let that sink in for a minute. They don't even own their own stadium. So what if they own their own stadium? What would the evaluation be, for the Chicago Bears that they paid $500 for back in the day? Nice little return on the investment there, huh?
Right.
Yeah, but I think Kevin will do a great job of leading them through whatever it is that's in front of them right now. It looks like a new stadium is on the horizon at least, and he's done it already. So I think he'll be right, and he's well respected in NFL circles. So I think he's home and in the best position and the best place he can be in, as the president and CEO of the Chicago Bears.
So I gotta ask you this, Howard. How does that sound? The Arlington Heights Bears. Bears.
Listen, all of it sounds horrible, right? All of it sounds horrible. But here's where I think we all get sidetracked sometimes. At some point, the Bears are going to be sold. I'm not saying it this year. I'm not saying it's next year. But at some
break
point,
it down.
Yeah, I'm going to say at some point, they're going to say, you know what? We probably want to move this franchise. We're done. It's been good. That next owner, you know what they want? They want their own stadium.
Yep.
They want their own stadium. That's part of, and not only just the stadium, they want to be able to control everything around the venue. So I think that's the way. I think the people that are looking at stadiums and stadium revitalization projects, that's what they want. I mean, Denver just built this stadium, and I don't think it might be 17 years old, maybe. I don't know. They're talking about building another one.
Are you serious?
They want because they want to be able to control everything that goes around, revitalize the neighborhood, bring in condos, all of this stuff. I mean, if you go out to Arizona, where the Cardinals play, when they first built that stadium, it was nothing around it. Nothing. You go there now, it's hotels, shops, condos, homes, everything else is out there. And I think that's just the game they play at that level. So no, it doesn't make sense to be called Arlington Bears, Naperville Bears. They'll probably what's crazy is they'll still probably be called the Chicago Bears.
Yeah.
It'd be someplace else.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. In Arizona, the stadium is nice. My wife and I were just out there in March. We were visiting cousin Nick out there, and he took me around. And you're right, they got like a big old mall right around there.
And I'm telling you, 5 years ago, nothing was out there. Nothing. It was like nothing. Like, why would you do this? Well, this is why. We want to control everything.
Right. So, right. Yeah, that's the nature of sports. That is the nature of sports. Well, hey, Howard, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming on and breaking stuff down for us and talking some NCAA. And before I let you go, I got to ask you, what is your prediction for the Bears?
Maybe 6-7 wins. I think they got a long. I think they got a long way to go.
What you saying, Howard? 6? You saying 6 or 7? Because let me tell you something real quick, Howard. The last guy, Sean Sierra, a.k.a. the Superback, told me they was going to win 9 games last year, 8 games. We won 3 games. I'm not listening to Sean no more. So Howard, I'm going to listen
Don't get caught up in all. Don't get caught up in all of that. And I mean, preseason things look really nice, and people are running around, and it's all nice. And what people fail to say is both teams kind of have an agreement here. This is what we're going to do. This is what we're not going to do. I need to make sure we get this kind of look. So can you make sure you give us that look so we have something on tape so I can I ain't buying none of this preseason stuff, but I've seen it. It's a hot mess. We won't know until they finally kick this thing off for real exactly how good this team can be. Now, they're making moves to do all the right things, but man, you just don't put an offensive line together overnight.
Agreed.
Just don't do it. Hey, y'all, keep an eye on Stanford and Cal in the ACC.
That's what I meant to ask you, and I know you got to run, but Stanford and Cal. Let me ask you this real quick. Last question. Stanford and Cal to the ACC. Is Clemson trying to leave and go to the SEC, or you think will Virginia Tech come to the SEC? Talk to us real quick about those last couple of moves. Not leave.
Yeah, I think one of the things they're trying to do, right? They can't get out of their grant to right deal as far as their TV deals. They can't get out of them. I mean, it's some crazy number, like 32 or something.
Yep,
I don't know.
32, 33.
Yeah, it's something crazy. So they were actually supposed to vote tonight, but there was a shooting on campus at North Carolina.
Sure was.
Wow.
So they postponed that. But it really, from what it sounds like, it's going to happen. Now, they voted it down a couple of weeks ago, so it didn't happen. But I think what you're going to see happen is Cal and Stanford are going to take less money, because I think if you're Clemson and Clemson and Florida State, they want more money. So the money, I think there end up being, if you go to a championship, you get X amount of dollars. So I think they're going to be able to create a pool, because reports are that the share that those two teams will get is 30% of what's available. So then the rest of that money can go into a pot and give the quote unquote the people that are bringing all the eyeballs. This was the same issue Texas had in the Big 12.
Yeah.
They were like, everybody's watching us. In Oklahoma, everybody's watching us. Why are they getting the same amount of money as us? That equal stuff. They do it in the Big Ten, it's worked, but some of these other conferences, it hasn't worked out so well. So I think that's going to be something to keep an eye on in the next couple of weeks. That the Pac-12 may be down to 2 teams.
Yeah.
So it's going to be interesting, fellas.
It is. Well, Howard, I think I figured out a way. I figured out a way for us to all keep all this in track. See?
Okay, talk to
This is what we're doing here now, people. I figured this out.
Hey, what's crazy, right? You see these kind of flight maps for commercial flights. This is about what it'll look like during traffic. This is crazy. Washington in the Big Ten, unbelievable. Oregon, come on, man. This is
interesting. It's gonna be interesting.
Hey, so real quick question: who gets all the freaking flyer miles then?
Now you would ask that question. Probably the university, since they're paying for the ticket.
Yep, because the kids they wouldn't let you get freaking fly miles, so that goes to the university.
Hey, and by the way, Howard, I picked 7-8 wins last year before I knew they were gutting the God bless the defense. And I was like, oh, now you're gonna do me this after I made this prediction. Now you trading Roquan? Come on, man.
Why they gut at the defense though? Why they do it? Couldn't get deals done. And they wanted to try to move up and do some things.
To get DJ Moore. I mean, obviously they wanted the number 1 pick. They got it, but they wanted probably a 3-tech or something. But I'm happy with it. I'm happy with what they did. Trust me, they ain't got a defense now. That's for damn sure. So
I said, fired up. Did you see that? Did you see how the energy?
Man, you have no idea, dude. The hair on my arms is stands up when I talk Bear football, baby. I said 10 wins. Some people said 12. Like, no, I don't think it's 12. I think 10. I said, I think Justin Fields is ready. I think him and DJ Moore are what each other needs. DJ Moore hasn't had a legit quarterback in what do you have? Like 7-8 quarterbacks, and none of them were good. Justin Fields hadn't had a wide receiver since Ohio State. So I think if you watch the body language, they just feel it's. I think they just bonded. They just got that thing, man. That thing. And I think it's going to be 10 wins.
He's very optimistic.
Howard is down there smiling like,
he's smirking like, man, you crazy than a mug.
You're going to drive me to drinking. That's what
Hey, I'm down. Ain't nothing but a thing. Ain't nothing but a word. You tell me.
All right.
I'll bring the Tito's.
Thank you so much, Howard. We really appreciate you. My fellow Saint Judas alum from 91st and Langley. Yes. All right. Good seeing you, Howard.
All right, thanks, Howard.
You guys got a great show.
All right, thanks a lot, man. Howard Griffith, everybody. My fellow alum from St. Joachim Catholic School in Chicago. So, all right, we're going to take a commercial break. And when Lance and I come back, we are going to delve into what happened over in Budapest, Hungary with USA Track and Field. We're going to talk about that and a couple other topics in our last 30 minutes on the show. You are watching What's Up, Cuz.
Hey, bud, what you doing?
I'm playing with cars.
Cars? Can you show me what a car does? Whoa. Hold on a second. First of all, this is a school zone. So you need to put down your cell phone, stop texting, and let's get to driving. Now you're coming up to a stop sign, right? You need to slow down and stop before you hit that Y line. I want you to look left, right, left. You don't want to get hit by a car going on your left, and to your right to make sure you don't get sideswiped by a guy coming from your right. You're coming, and you see a crosswalk. You better slow your horses down, because the #1 rule of driving is always yield to pedestrians. Now stop, pull over, and you are done driving. Gosh, what do they teach you kids in school nowadays?
Hey, it's your boy, the Superback, Sean Sierra, and be sure to follow Sports Zone Chicago on all social media platforms, on Facebook, Instagram, and our Roku channel. You can find us at Sports Zone Chicago, and on Twitter, we are at Sports Zone Shy. Also, be sure to download our mobile app so you can take Sports Zone Chicago with you on the go.
faced one of the toughest challenges of my life right here. I couldn't swim. But I can still hear my drill instructor today.
Don't quit. If you quit now, you'll always quit in life. Go for it.
So I jumped in, unsure, apprehensive, and scared out of my mind. But I came up a Marine.
The few, the proud, the Marines.
We are looking for a few heroes, mentors, trailblazers, innovators, a passion to change lives, spark curiosity, open hearts, and awaken minds, help students answer the question, who am I? This could be your calling, but this is no job. It's the journey of a lifetime. Be a hero. Be a teacher.
World champion of what? The United States? You know, the thing that hurts me the most is that I have to watch the NBA Finals and they have world champion on their head. World champion of what? The United States? Don't get me wrong. I love the U.S. at times, but that ain't the world. That is not the world. We are the world. We have almost every country out here fighting, thriving, putting on their flag to show that they are represented. There ain't no flags in the NBA.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to What's Up, Cuz. I'm your host, Jason Palmer, along with my cousin, Lance Irvin. And those comments came from three-time gold medalist at this year's World Athletic Competition, Noah Lyles. And he is catching some heat from NBA players, from Kevin Durant to all sorts of people. And so I wanted to know from my cousin, Lance Irvin, what did you think about Noah Lyles' comment?
First of all, Jay, I'm sitting here laughing because the NBA has players from all over the world. Have players from Spain, Argentina, Canada, Portugal, from all over the place, right? And they're the best, most of the best basketball players in the world. I don't know if you agree or disagree, but most of the better basketball players like Jokic and some of those guys leave their country to come play. Giannis comes to play. Manu, when he's with the Spurs, came to play. Sabonis left Russia to come to play back in the day. So I disagree with this assertion and this comment because the players, it's a lot of international players that play in the NBA, right? So with that being said, though, that's why they call it, to me, the World Championship. And I think Noah Lyles is a good track runner, but I think he put his foot in his mouth when he made that comment. But I don't know if he wanted to bring more attention to himself. I don't know, but what's your thoughts on it, Jay? I just disagree with what he said. It doesn't make sense to me, but maybe you can make it make sense. I don't know.
I can't. I can't help you make sense of that one. He definitely misspoke. The NBA, I think you've put it quite clearly, has got players from all over the world. And let's be honest, the best players in the world right now are not coming.
Joel Embiid.
I mean, the best players in the NBA used to be honest, all came from the hood.
Mm-hmm.
But too many of our players started concentrating on their mixtape and not concentrating on their fundamental skills. And the players from over in Europe and from all over the world, they came, learned the basics, and have changed the game big time. And I cringed when I saw it. And then I was like, okay, what is the backlash going to be to him on this? And so one of them came from none other than Kevin Durant. Somebody helped his brother. That was Kevin Durant's comments, but there have been plenty of more people who I will not post their comments because we try to keep this somewhat as a family show. But I thought it was unfortunate that he used his platform with all the success that USA Track had, all the success that he had over there at the World Championships, and then he got in the press conference and he fumbled the ball.
So what learning from you, Jay, what was the context, right? What question, how did they phrase the question that he was asked, right?
That's the problem. It wasn't really a question. He just went on his little
tirade.
Yeah.
Soapbox.
And then, he's going to get himself, it's just, I don't know what's going on with the track and field people. They just saying stuff off the top of their head, and honestly, he should have pulled a Shaqiri. He should have just been like, I'm not talking right now if that's the way you feel. If you're going to say something, because the part that's going to get him in trouble is where he said, I love the U.S. too. Sometimes. I like, see, now you.
See that part, see.
Right. I'm like, you about to walk yourself into a political fire now.
Mm-hmm.
Because, patriotism has become political over the last few years. And I'm like, man, I get what you're saying, brother. Trust me, I do. But be smart, man. You got to be smart when you're on that level, man. I'll say this. He probably cost himself some endorsement deals doing that one.
And Jason, you know better than I do, right? Most of the time, we as athletes, when you reach a certain level, go to a certain school, you go through media training.
Yep.
So they teach you how to answer questions. They teach you it's a way to get out of things. It's things that you say to deflect and put the spotlight back on you. Or you can answer the question in a way where you're not even answering the question. So with that right there, basketball is such a global game now. They playing games in France. They're going over to Spain to play. The basketball team, most of the players on the World Championship, the World Game team, they play in the NBA. They're playing right now for their country. They're playing in the same event you're playing in. So I don't know. And like I think, Jay, I need to watch the whole press conference. But like you said, he misspoke, but maybe it was calculated, Jay. Maybe, well, at least he got it off his chest. But I'm kind of like you. I think he probably lost a few endorsement deals.
I ain't trying to leave no money on the table like that.
No, Jay, money is too hard to get these days, right?
Yes.
I'm in a point, Jay, where I talk to people and I'm looking at, it's hard to create generational wealth already for some African Americans because we were behind the 8 ball, whether you went to school, had to pay for college, different stuff. You like, Jay, how many 100,000 are you in a hole if you had to pay for college these days, right? So you already come out the chute, you 200,000 in debt. So with that being said, though, can he, you a journalist, can he come back? How can he come back and say, I misspoke or I didn't mean no harm by my comments, or is it too late to do something like that?
Well, he can always, first of all, I think all these track and field athletes need to hire a PR firm before they talk. But, he can definitely change that. He could definitely adjust it. They're professional people who teach him how to do that, and he needs to do that. So Lisa Fawcett says Lyles was right. The NBA players are not representing their country, not when they're playing for their particular NBA team. However, there are so many international competitions that take place now, and those games are just as fierce as some of these NBA games now, because it's not the USA is going to dominate in basketball no more. This ain't the 96 Olympics no more. Everybody's coming and bringing their best game, and we've gotten knocked a few times. So while I understand what he was saying, if you win the NBA championship, you're not necessarily the world champions. I get that, but that's a very literal interpretation is what he's trying to do. And I was like, bruh, that was not probably a good move, but he did what he did. But hey, he's got a right to express himself, and that is what he did. So let's talk about the good stuff he was doing, because Noah Lyles was kicking ass. And
hey Jay, if we talk like people said, if we're gonna keep the business, he took care of his business. Like, he's one of the fastest in the world. And you and I talked about it months ago. Like, Noah Lyles is an excellent runner. I like Noah Lyles. He's fast as can be and happy for him, right? And when you compete in a sport like track, Jay, you're competing really for 10 seconds. If you stumble out the gate, you're probably in trouble. So you training most of your career for a race that probably lasts about 15 seconds. So I'm happy for him, happy he had the opportunity to run, and happy he showed the world what he can do, because he is one of the best runners out there.
He is. So he won a gold medal in the men's 100 meters,
run
the
100.
men's 200 meters, and he was a member of the 4x100 relay team. The United States, both their men and women's relay teams come back with the gold. Sha'Carri Richardson runs the ankle leg for the women's team. Noah Lyles runs it for the men's team. And those were some phenomenal races, man. And I was really proud of the USA track, because it was just a couple of years ago, that last Olympics, and you and I talked on the show. We were like, damn, what happened to our track field?
Like you said, the Jamaicans were kicking our butts. You and I was like, what the heck? How about Sha'Carri Richardson, though, Jay? I mean, redemption, would you say? I mean, what's your take on that?
Progress. A lot of progress. And I'm very happy for the young lady. She's gotten herself focused. I say again, I hope it is for her entire life and not just on the track. But yeah, she it definitely came out there. She got a bronze medal in the 200 meter, won gold in the 100 meter, and then gold in the 4x100. So yeah, very good. That's the talent, that's the potential that we all saw in her, and we all wanted her to fulfill her potential as a person and as an athlete. So I was very happy to see that. She's still rough around the edges, though. She pulled I'm not gonna, and this was another bad move. She pulled after winning one of the races. I don't want to talk to anybody in the white media. I only want to talk to the black press. I was like, oh God. I was like, these people are just giving away money. Like, me and Sean will gladly take the money that y'all just want to keep giving away.
Jason, could you do me a favor? Can you please start a consulting business, media training business for some of these athletes, right? Come on, Jay. Some stuff you just don't say. Jay, I love being outspoken, Jay. I would say some stuff, but you also have to be smart in what you say. Now, I'm not saying kiss people butts. I'm not saying that. But you taught me too, Jay. Some things you used to call me when I was going to do an interview. Make sure you don't say this now. Watch what you say now. Jay, I don't know. You're the journalist, right? I mean, we need to check, because I'm starting to think, don't they have media training in the Olympics?
Yes, all these people have been through media training. It ain't no different than when you coach in the player lands and you do practice drills and you do all this stuff in practice, and then it get game time and they doing stuff. You're like, what play was that? Like, I don't remember that play in practice. So, you got to be able to perform in front of the cameras, literally, not just during the competition, but after the competition too. And I don't know why they all feel that they need to just say some of the stuff they say, But I was like, well, okay, y'all done said it now.
Like
okay,
Jason. Perfect example too. Like LeBron James and Michael Jordan, right?
Yeah.
They're great in front of the camera. I mean, would you agree? They're great. I don't think they slip a lot.
I think Mike is great in front of the camera. I think LeBron is good, but every once in a while, LeBron will say some stuff, and I'll be like, but it is what it is, man. But and I get that these are young people and they're trying to learn and stay true to their base fans. I get that part. You got to stay true to your base fans, but you also cannot just alienate people, because the only
That's it.
you're going to end up hurting in the long run is really yourself. So, you got to be able to kind of walk that line. But hey, what can I say, man? They say what they say. But hey, the USA track and field team did very well. And I'm going to stay positive for a minute here and talk who else. She not win a gold, but she won silver. Our girl, Shamir Little from Chicago, Lindblom's own silver medalist in the 400-meter hurdles. And she ran a hell of a race. This is her second silver medal at Worlds in her career. Her last one came some 8 years ago in 2015. I talked to Shamir, gave her a shout out while she was in Hungary. She was just so elated because she's worked so hard. When she first burst on the scene back there in like 2015, we were like, oh man, this girl gonna win gold medals like crazy, And then Sydney McLaughlin came around, and Dalilah Muhammad came along, and all these other people in the sport kind of changed, and she had to redo how she was doing her training, because the times in the 400-meter women's hurdle was just dropping at like a record rate. They were dropping world records left and right.
Ooh.
Shamir was sitting there stuck. So to see her do what she did at the age of 28, she'll be competing in the Olympics in Paris next year. So maybe she's got another Olympic run in her where she can get a medal, because I know she wants that Olympic medal more than anything else. But I was very happy to see Shamir get a silver medal.
Happy for her, Jay. And I remember when she was on the show, right? Her personality, Jay, was contagious. She's a good person, right? And I could tell talking to her, how you listen to people, you could tell they really want it and they going to go after it and they going to go get it. And talking to you, I remember when she got off the show, I said, Jay, she had a lot of energy. Like, she had me like, yeah, okay, let's go get it. Okay.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm happy for her. Because the amount of work, like I mentioned earlier, that you put in to achieve something, it's not easy. Like, Jay, you just thought about it. You said, look, we thought she was going to win the gold medal sooner. What you said. Somebody is always coming for you. It's always the next one out there. So you always constantly working, which that's why a lot of us participate in sport, because we like doing the work. Those that work, sometimes you get what you deserve. Those that don't work, it's kind of tough to get it, but she's a worker, which is a testimony to what she's been doing or what she has done. So shout out to me. You see, I just started smiling when you put a picture up. I just started smiling. So happy she had an opportunity to show everybody what she can do and the things that she's been working on. Even though she went to Lindblom, she should have went to Julian.
Hey, man, y'all got enough pro athletes. We got to get one. Jesus. So congratulations to Shamir Little. Talking about redemption. Okay. And my wife said, Jason, you got to do it. You got to be fair. I said, I'm going to be fair. We fair on this show. So last week, we did our little segment, and it was true. The Netherlands was tripping. They were falling all over the damn track. Well, Fipke Bowl said, hold my damn beer. This week, Fipke Bowl managed to stay upright in the last 10 minutes of the race, and she absolutely blew away the competition in the 400-meter women's race to finish first place. We just talked about Shamir Little finished second, and it was not a close second because Fipke Bowl was pissed. And she came out and kicked everybody's ass around the track, and she's there smiling now like, yeah, what y'all got to say now? Congratulations, Flimsy, is what I have to say. You got your 400-meter hurdle gold medal. And then she's like, no, player. No. You were messing with my countrymen too. So then she won the 400-meter relay race. As well as the United States women got eliminated in the first heat because we couldn't pass the baton on the final leg. We were outside of the zone. I think that's what they call it, Sean, the zone. She thought she had the baton. She didn't. And she kind of went back for it. The other girl like, stop. Too late. And the United States ran out of the zone. So we got disqualified. And so in the finals, it was pretty much the Netherlands. And Femke Bol was trailing. I should have put up. She was literally trailing when she got the baton by like a good 35, 40 meters. And the announcers are like, we know Femke Bol is good, but I don't think she's going to catch this girl. It was a lady from Jamaica, and I think it was Cuba, who was in first and second, and they were running their first 200 meters. She wasn't making no ground up. Then as they were getting ready to go in that turn, about 150 meters, it's kind of like that horse at the Kentucky Derby. You're just like, hey, wait a minute. Who the hell is this coming up on the rail? And all of a sudden, here comes Femke Bol just running, and she caught the girl from Jamaica in the last 5 meters of the race and won. And then you see her expression like, yes, get up off me. She gets her second gold medal of the event.
Hey, Jay, a couple of points. Number one, that's why you never give up. That's why you keep competing until it's over with. What if she would have quit and started doing a home run jog? She was like, no. I trained for this. I'm going to go get you. But how bad do you feel for the person that's in first place? Jay, 30, you up in the lead. All you have to do is hold on. That's like, Jay, I know she's having nightmares. The person that lost is having nightmares. Though, man. Jay, I don't care what it is, Jay. If you have a lead and you can't hold on to your lead, I don't care, Jay. I'm like, what did I do to Jay? She having sleepless nights. Sleepless nights. That's all I'm going to say. I feel bad for the person that lost. Ooh, Jay, she could have changed her life. Think about that. That's a life-changing experience.
Well, I think the funniest thing about the whole thing was when, as I was watching that race, the young lady for Jamaica, she knew she was coming. Like, she could feel her. So, you know how it is when people all of a sudden they get under stress, and we say, pressure breaks pipes. And you can see her. I mean, this girl was Jamaica. She's like, oh Lord, this girl coming. She coming. Where is the line? I swear I read her lips like, where is the line? Where is the line? I just want to get to the line. And she was almost there. And in the last 5 meters, here comes little Femke's leg. And she just got her right there at the wire. So it was a great race. But I think the World Athletic Championships were really good this year in Budapest, and they set the stage for the Olympics next year in Paris, France. So I will be looking forward to that. One more subject before we get out of here, because after our show last week, there was some breaking news in the Chicago White Sox organization. The firings of Rick Hahn and Kenny Williams, which we had been saying needed to be done a long time ago, happened, and they are not out. But it was a crazy news week for the White Sox, who also said they want to leave Guaranteed Rate Field. They want a new damn stadium. And then Sean went to the game the other night, and 2 people got shot inside the damn stadium. So the White Sox, and I'm not laughing at the 2 people got shot. I hope they recover. But I was like, when it rains, it pours. And this is the perfect sign that Jerry Reinsdorf needs to sell this damn team, because all this stupidity is going on. And Sean was at the game. The police is still investigating what happened. We all have theories. But earlier today, they came out and said they are almost 100% sure that the shots did not come from outside the stadium. And that is because they actually found a bullet casing in the stands, kind of around the area where the woman was shot. So it is still being investigated. There are a bunch of theories out. Was it an undercover cop who snuck his gun into the stadium? Did the lady herself sneak the gun into the stadium? I have heard it all. So I'm just going to shut up about it and just let the official investigation take its course and find out what happened. And the worst part of this whole thing, according to Sean, Come on, Sean. Tell us what was the worst part. Why were you at the game anyway? There was only one reason why you went.
Don't say Vanilla Ice. Please don't.
There was only one reason I went. I drove from Orland, and I got there in the 8th inning because there's really no reason for me to watch that cesspool of a team. And I'm a diehard White Sox fan, and that was for the Back to the '90s concert. Tone Loc, Rob Bass, and Vanilla Ice. I was fired up for that concert. Man, there's only 2 songs. Each of them only got 2 songs, so it's only going to be 35 minutes. That's all I'm saying. Funky Cole Medina, Wild Thing. Okay, next. We got It Takes Two, and he got one more that sounds just like It Takes Two. And then he got Ice Ice Baby and a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles rap song that he had. That's it. That's all he got. I'm like, good, 6 songs, I'm out. And they canceled the concert. I'm like, wait a minute. You played because this happened in the 3rd inning.
Yes.
This happened in the 3rd inning. So they played the last 6 innings. So you couldn't wait another 20 minutes, 30 minutes for the people. And this is how bad it was. They didn't even tell the people. They didn't tell their people not to set up. So the game's over, and once they had the people coming out of center field with the stands and the barricade because people had on-field passes or on-field packages where people could go on-field and sit and watch the concert there. They're bringing all this stuff out, and then the dude over the loudspeaker says, the concert has been canceled due to technical issues.
That's crazy.
Man, I was mad at the mug, dude. Let me tell you. I'm like, I drove all the way because I told you I wasn't giving them that money. I bought it off of Scalpers, only $13. So I drove in from Orland, parked at Archer and Ashland in the Mariano's parking lot, walked 2 blocks, so I was on 33rd Street, walked to 35th, hopped the bus because I wasn't paying them $30 for damn parking. Hopped the bus. All right. I get there, and they even let beer sales go to the end of the game. I'm like, oh, cool. I have a beer. And at the end of the game, they're like, nope, sorry, Charlie. I'm like, what? Technical issues. I'm like, you got to be bleeping me. I drove in from Orland for this.
I was just about to say, I hope you didn't park.
No, hell no. No. I park in the Mariano's parking lot, actually by the Dollar Tree on Ashland. Walk the 2 blocks. Hey, I'll pay $2.25. I'll leave you right at the front door.
Yeah. So poor Sean, he missed Vanilla Ice Tone.
Yes, ice, baby.
So hopefully,
collaborate and listen.
Hopefully, in 2 weeks, the police department will have completed its investigation, and we will have some news to report to you. That is the end of tonight's show. We thank you for tuning in for What's Up, because next week is Labor Day. We are off. Everyone enjoy your holiday. Enjoy your family. Be safe out there. Lance, I will see you soon. On behalf of everyone here at Sports Zone Chicago, we are out. Peace.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun up march on to victory.